2-2. Hey, hey.
Remember, you got to be on mic.
Check 1 2 2 2. Hey, hey. Check 1 2 2 2. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Check 1 2 2 2. You good? Awesome. I'm gonna do one more check from lectern.
That's not too bad.
Good morning, everybody. If everybody can please make their way to the white chairs, we are going to be starting momentarily. Thank you very much. Again, we are about to start the presentation, so if everyone can please make their way down to the chairs, we can go ahead and get started. Thank you very much.
Folks, if you could all have a seat. Come on down. you sit down, we can get started. Well, thank you all so much for coming today. Special thanks to Governor Kemp and First Lady Kemp, Marty Kemp. We thank you and their daughter who came to the state of the port. Lucy, welcome back. It's great to have you. We're going to make you an official Savannian before you know it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule being here with us, Governor, seriously. And to the many elected, past and current elected officials who are here with us today, who've helped guide this project over many, many years, thank you. We can't thank you enough. I'd also just like to acknowledge some of our customers that are here today on the ocean side, the folks that actually bring the ships in and out of our port. We've got Hapag-Lloyd, HMM, Maersk Line, MSC, and the president of OOCL, Paul Devine, is here with us today, who traveled in last night. So thank you for coming. And finally, the international longshoremen who are here with us, and most importantly, the pilots and the folks that are associated with actually moving the vessels. This is a big day for you. They've been working with one hand tied behind their back for 20 years now, and it's going to be great to see what they can do now that we've given them a premium first-class product. So after more than 20 years, we are thrilled that you're here with us today to celebrate this incredible, momentous occasion, the Savannah Harbor deepening. It's great to see some of the folks that were past, and I know Joel will recognize them, but just folks that were on the board at the GPA 20 years ago who were part of that, Keith Mason, Bob Jepson, and Steve Green, and others, and we'll make sure we recognize you, but thank you for being part of this today. Many people had a direct hand in making this possible. From the White House to the State House, from the legislature to Congress, you know, just across the board, and even from presidents and governors and policymakers, their support has been steadfast throughout. And so for that, we are truly grateful. And really, the folks on the ground at the U.S. Army Corps, at the GPA, at the Department of Transportation, Georgia Department of Transportation, and many, many stakeholders. A lot of people, you know, ask, well, what does this really mean to you and to the Georgia ports? And I think there's two answers to that. Number one, for ships that are moving inbound, it literally is going to be a 52% reduction in tidal vessels. For ships moving outbound, it's a 90% reduction. So vessels waiting less time and moving more efficiently. But the bigger picture really is the impact it has on jobs, on the community here locally, in the state, and beyond in the nation. I mean, it's going to have a massive impact, and we know the numbers of that, and I'm sure you'll hear that today. But to kick off our program, we have a very special guest and a very close friend of the Georgia ports, Colonel Joseph Geary, commander of the Corps Engineers District of Savannah. The colonel's time with the Army is very impressive. He served in Fallujah, Iraq, in Kabul, Afghanistan, New Orleans, and New York. You might say, why would I mention New Orleans and New York? Because he was there for Hurricane Katrina, and in New York for Superstorm Sandy, which was, I lived it there at the time, and it was a nightmare. So the colonel is very used to crisis management. So as soon as he came here, we thought we'd pile on him and give him a few extra to make him comfortable. And he is a great friend of the Georgia Ports Authority. We've had a great host of colonels come through here, but I got to say, Colonel Geary, thank you for your friendship, your leadership. You've been definitely one of the best. So let's invite Colonel Geary up to a warm Georgia welcome.
Good morning, everyone, and I appreciate it, Griff, and those words, and Governor Kemp and Mrs. Kemp and Lucy, and everyone here. Thanks for coming out. Dr. McAllister, Matt, thanks for coming down from South Atlantic Division as well to help us. It's an honor for Savannah District and the Army Corps of Engineers to be at this ceremony, completing the deepening of this harbor. It's a project that has a long history, as Griff mentioned, a project whose lessons, both good and bad, have reverberated across the Corps. It's made the things that the Corps does, the things your federal government does better, just from the lessons learned here. Like all celebrations, we owe some gratitude. So first, our elected officials. It takes money and authority to do these projects. So all the senators, all the representatives, both past and present, we appreciate your investment in our nation's prosperity. To the Corps partners, Governor Kemp, your team, Georgia Department of Transportation, Griff, Georgia Ports, and so many others throughout, both sitting in this audience and out. It took a team effort, and you know, after a lot of years of studying and a lot of years of construction, it got to completion because of that team. To our team here in Savannah, there's many in here and maybe watching or in the audience that were literally kids when this project kind of came to idea. But they built it. They built it alongside the partners here. They built it alongside the construction contractors, Norfolk Dredging, Great Lakes Dredge and Dock, and they took it from idea to a reality. So to our project managers, to our construction folks, to all of Savannah District, congratulations for getting this done. You really did a nice job. And I got to call out Eric Bleckinger. He's our senior civilian, our deputy district engineer. He's driven that. If you've met him, he's got the passion, he's got the commitment to get through every obstacle that comes forward. And when you have somebody like that next to you, this sort of thing as a commander is really easy. So about the project, you know, there's no deepening project in America that has the return on investment that the Savannah Harbor does. For every dollar invested, it's $7.70 that goes back into the U.S. economy. So, you know, not just Georgia is successful, but America's successful when this project gets done. This state and Governor, on your leadership and Jamie and you guys, this state has done more in my mind to invest in its future, not just in the port, but in the roads, in the railroads, in the inland ports than any state in the nation. And when I go up into DC and I talk to the folks up there, that's what I tell them. Is like, this state is doing it right. They're working together. They're got everything moving forward to prosperity. But it's not economics, and you know, we always keep our eye on the money. That's where things are. But another thing about this project is the investment we did in the environment. We took it seriously. Amazing, 50% of the money that went into this project went into some sort of environmental mitigation to help some of the natural resources that we have. It was an investment into our future, into our kids' future. So the folks here that were willing to make that investment, can't thank you enough. I'll end on what I think is the most important note, especially as we look at events around the world. A principle of our national strength is the economy of this nation. The United States is stronger in large part. We're the strongest because our economy is strong. So when your federal government is here working in conjunction with your local and state government to help our private companies be successful, we as a nation get stronger. The Department of Defense gets stronger. It started here in Georgia with a vision at the ground level and a vision of a brighter future. Georgia brought that vision to the legislative branch, who, on behalf of the American taxpayers, gave us the authority and the money to get this done. The executive branch took it, acting through the Army Corps of Engineers and us acting through our contractors, which are private for-profit companies, to complete the work. That teamwork between legislative and executive branches, between all levels of government, manifested itself in this harbor deepening. It made our economy better, and it makes our country stronger. Thanks to everyone here, and appreciate it, Griff and Governor, for everything you do.
Good morning. What a beautiful day. Colonel Geary, thank you for those comments, and we appreciate everything you and the Corps have done. This project would not have been possible without you and all the work y'all did. But I want to thank everyone for joining us today. This is a really special group, very special people for a very special occasion. And before I start, I want to recognize a few of the folks here. First, would the current board members for the Georgia Ports Authority stand up? we've got Ben Hall, we've got Jimmy Allgood, a former chair, Will McKnight, a former chair, Kent Fountain, the current vice chairman. Now, would any other former board members in the audience please stand? And these are three special gentlemen. All three of them are former chairs of the Ports Authority. We've got Keith Mason, Bob Jepson, that many of y'all here in Savannah know, as well as Steve Green, that y'all also know. Give them a round of applause. And thank you all for everything that you did and have done and are still doing to make this possible and keep the ports moving forward and the state moving forward. This is an exciting day for Georgia. We're opening a new chapter, continuing to provide world-class service for customers who have come to expect that from the Port of Savannah, and we try to deliver. The completion of the Savannah Harbor deepening provides ample draft for the largest ships calling on the U.S. East Coast. The largest vessels can now transit the river with heavier loads and with fewer tidal restrictions. And that is incredibly important to the port, to our capacity, and to our efficiency. The deeper water means that ships can carry up to an additional 1,000 containers. And that's important. That's important for the importers. It's also important to the Georgia exporters because it will mean greater speed and greater efficiency getting Georgia grown and Georgia manufactured goods to global markets. The harbor deepening is just one part of Georgia's ongoing efforts to support growth through global commerce. And I want to reiterate Griff's expressed gratitude to all of our federal, state, and local officials for their support, their continuing support of our harbor deepening, as well as the important enhancements to the statewide logistics network. The teamwork approach that is shared in Georgia among public and private sectors truly sets Georgia apart in the competition to win new business. Now we've got a very special guest, and it gives me a great deal of pleasure to invite Governor Kemp to come up and to share his thoughts on the day. So if y'all would please welcome the 83rd governor of the great state of Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp.
Well, thank you, Joel, so much for that, and we appreciate your work and great leadership over the last year and years in your service and what you all have been doing. It is a great day to be here with our First Lady, Marty Kemp, and one of our daughters, Lucy, who wanted to be here for this historic day as well, here in the #1 state in the country for business. I want to thank Colonel Geary and his whole team at the Corps, the board members, the past board members and past chairmen. We cannot thank you enough for your leadership. I also want to thank Jamie McCurry. Griff told me he's been working on this project for 20 years, which means I guess he started when he was 18. I also want to thank the mayor and so many community leaders for being here, also so supportive of what we're doing at the Georgia Ports Authority. It's an incredible day to be a Georgian. And just looking at the backdrop behind me, it's beautiful. I just hope it's not slowing down our logistics supply chain. But I want you to know that in my book, this achievement is on par with the Braves winning the World Series, as well as Georgia winning the national championship. And it seems only fitting that this once-in-a-lifetime, a once-in-a-generation milestone comes on the heels of already record-breaking trade numbers. Earlier this year, we celebrated the fact that Georgia's trade activity in 2021 reached over $166 billion across 223 countries and territories, setting a record for exports of over $42 billion, all while the global market was experiencing unprecedented supply chain challenges. You can imagine how much higher these numbers will be now that this harbor expansion is complete. What is also important to remember in the midst of all those numbers is that 85% of our state's exporters are small businesses. As a small business owner myself, I can appreciate firsthand the deeper meaning and impact of these metrics in the completion of this long-awaited project. They mean greater opportunity for job creators, more businesses for hard-working Georgians and communities all across our state, and serve yet as another reminder as why we're the best state in the country to live, work, and raise our families. In anticipation of the larger ships that will soon make Savannah their port of call, and being the enhanced global commerce it will bring to the Peach State, the Georgia Ports Authority has already been hard at work expanding its capacity. Because the GPA believes, as I do, that we should never rest on our laurels. Colonel Geary said this earlier, but that same mindset is why both the port system and our entire infrastructure network are viewed as top class. In fact, just this week, Georgia was ranked number 2 out of the entire country for states with the best infrastructure by the finance outlet Wallet Hub. As our world-class team at the Department of Economic Development will tell you, the ports are a major reason why our FY 2022 numbers for total jobs created and dollars invested are on track to outpace all of last year's numbers, which, by the way, was a record year. Because businesses know that when they operate in Georgia, their goods will reach the markets around the world, even during unprecedented challenges like the days that we have experienced recently. As we celebrate this achievement, which will grow that capacity and reputation, we have so many to thank. Many who have already been recognized today, but if we were to start listing them all, we would be here a long time. Because this is truly a multi-generational project, one that countless hands and minds have touched over the years. In fact, the first feasibility study started in 1997. That was before Lucy and her 2 sisters were even born. So to say that today has been a long time coming is an understatement. And I'm sure there are many theories and beliefs as to why it took so long to bring this project to fruition. But my favorite theory is that there's some magical connection between this project and the Atlanta Braves record. The Braves won the World Series in 1995, and 2 years later, feasibility studies on the harbor began. They win again in 2021, and the expansion is complete less than a year later. This is a day that all Georgians should be proud of, no matter who they are, where they work, or how they vote, or who they voted for. As mentioned, today is accumulation of decades of hard work from partners on all levels and from all different political affiliations. That is ultimately the key in Georgia's ongoing saga of success. The partnerships that bring everyone to the table so that we can achieve monumental wins. So to all the partners here who worked on this endeavor over the years, and you know who you are, to those who couldn't be with us today, and the partners who didn't live to see this project to completion, but whose memory remains in our minds and hearts, on behalf of all Georgians, I want to thank you all. Together we've achieved something transformational, something that will solidify our position as the best state for business for years to come, and something that whole generations of Georgians will benefit from economically and personally. Congratulations again. May God bless you, and may He continue to bless this great state of Georgia. Thank you very much.
Governor, thank you for that wonderful, those wonderful comments. Just as I wrap up, I wanted to say just two things. Number one, I forgot to mention some names that I want to recognize. We can't recognize everybody, but the Governor did a good job of bringing up Jamie McCurry. But under Jamie, you had a couple people. Hope Mora, who's not with us today, has worked on this project for the whole time and did a phenomenal job. And Kathy Beasley, who I believe I hope is here with us today, who did a great job. And then, you know, my predecessors, Doug Marchand was the executive director back, you know, I don't know how many years ago. It's been a number of years, Doug, if you're here, I'm sorry. But he started this. His vision started this and began the project back in the late 90s. And then Curtis Foltz continued to carry the torch with Jamie, and we're happy to be here today to celebrate this. And the last one I'm going to say is, on the project, the communications piece of it was really important, you know, educating the state, and Jamie and Hope did that, but Robert Morris also took a big part of that. So Robert's here with us today, who's just recently retired to do some other things from the Georgia ports, but still with us for a few more months. Last thing I'm going to say is that there's an old Irish saying, and it goes something like this, and forgive me if I get it wrong, but may the rain fall softly upon your fields. What's the next part? May the wind, right? The wind always be at your back. I just thought, that's when I thought, man, this wind is blowing, it's at our back. May the ships continue to transit the Savannah River uninhibited. And may God hold you in the palm of his hands until we meet again. Everybody, we're going to meet again right here for lunch in this reception area. So let's join it and have a great time. And also want to make sure I just saw Congressman Jack Kingston. Thank you for all of your work that you did. I'm sorry I missed you there. Thank you. Appreciate it.